Randomly shoot a bunch of folks in a deli in Paris. White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest tried his best to back up those comments.
This was an attack on a kosher deli. Does the president have any doubt that those terrorists attacked that deli because there would be Jews in that deli?
The adverb that the president chose was used to indicate that the individuals who were killed in that terrible, tragic incident were killed not because of who they were, but because of where they randomly happened to be.
Eventually, it was really like pulling teeth. State Department spokesperson Jen Psaki tweeted out this clarification, quote, "We have always been clear that the attack on the kosher grocery store was an anti-Semitic attack that took the lives of innocent people." They just didn't actually say that. All rise. Judge Andrew Napolitano is here. I want to talk about the words that the president used, because if I'm not mistaken, he was the editor of the Harvard Law Review.
Editor-in-chief.
And that words are of paramount importance in the law. Their precise use is of paramount importance. I don't think the president lived up to that standard.
You know, Stuart, the president is an intelligent human being, well above average intelligence.
Absolutely.
I don't know if he thinks he can rewrite history by his choice of words, or if he thoughtlessly, just without realizing the impact of the words, used the word random. And quite frankly, Josh Earnest's attempt to justify random, that these people were randomly there, is not what the president said. The president said the shooting was random. It was not random.
Precisely.
It was a direct attack on people because they were Jewish.
Yes.
And that's a very, very, very serious problem in Europe and anywhere else that it might happen. And the president can't fail to recognize that. Look, you want to give him the benefit of the doubt? Maybe there's something going on that we don't know about, that by the use of soft words will help remedy this.
Well,
but when he tries to rewrite recent history, it's not justifiable.
Look, that interview was taped in late January.
Yes.
Less than 2 weeks later, it was broadcast. The president's own people were in that room whilst that tape was being made.
Yeah.
Where were they? Why didn't they correct this?
I don't know.
Why didn't they point out, Mr. President, what are you doing?
If you watch the sentence before this one we're now analyzing, he paused to choose his words carefully. And he often does that. I recently watched a tape of him being interviewed by Bill O'Reilly. Probably the most aggressive interviews he's gotten. Brett Baer's interview,
yes,
just as aggressive. And he pauses and chooses his words carefully. I don't know that he chose his words carefully. He either really believes this,
and why didn't his staff...
Or he fails to grasp the gravity of what he's talking about and what happened.
Why didn't his staff do something about it? They had nearly 2 weeks to fix it.
I know. That's a good point. This was a tape. This is not a live interview.
But here's the other question. The words that the president did not use. He would not use the word anti-Semite or anti-Semitic. He just wouldn't do it. He won't say Islamic terror.
You know,
why not?
I don't know. Well, I wish I knew what was going on in his head. I honestly think that he thinks that he can lessen violence and lessen anxiety by the refusal to recognize it, which is an attitude that is defied by history. But look, he's about to ask the Congress for authorization to fight ISIS. Do you expect him to make the case for that war? Because he hasn't. I don't think he even believes in it.
So why is he doing
whatever
this?
you think of FDR, whatever you think of World War II, he went to Congress and made the case for war, and he got the declaration within 24 hours.
Why is he not doing this?
Very good question. Maybe he wants the burden of war to be on the Republican Congress, which will enact the authorization to use military force, and not on him. I suggest to the Republican Congress, correct, I agree with you. I suggest to the leadership of the Republican Congress, tell the president to make the case for war. What does he want to accomplish? Why does he want this war? And then debate the authorization to use military force. Don't just give it to him, and see what he says.
And what do you think of that precise wording here, quoted in the New York Times this morning? The troops which go would not be an enduring, offensive ground force.
All right, that is not defined in the statute. There's the proposed statute. There's two interesting aspects to this. One is it has a time limitation, which the current authorizations to use military force do not have. The other is it has a quasi-geographical limitation. They can only fight ISIS where it is. They can't fight ISIS where it isn't and claim that it's preventive. So then the White House proposed this. Whether it's to restrain his successor or to restrain him, I don't know. But what is an enduring ground force? There's no legal definition to that. It's whatever the president in office at the time wants it to mean.
Okay. Well, let's hear him go to Congress and make the case.
I don't think we're going to hear that, but I'd like to hear it.
Serious stuff this morning, Judge, and we appreciate your presence.
Pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.